Hey, what's up ladies and gents, Spoony Pizzas here and welcome to my review of the UFL Open Beta. When first launching up the game, you choose your club name and abbreviation, then pick a team captain from Ronaldo, De Bruyne, Zinchenko or Firmino, and then a formation which can be changed once you're in game. You'll then be allocated a bunch of random players to your squad, and I noticed the menus and overall presentation was very slick, easy to navigate and puts eFootball to shame. I would even go as far to say that the menu navigation was even better than EA FC's 24. But then again, the modes are pretty limited here to online 1 vs 1 and local play. What I really did like was that they stole the transfer market idea from eFootball's Dream Team in that you can pick any player. It's not random like it is in EA FC 24, so you can carefully pick and build your own team to compete on the virtual grass. However, I did notice that there were a few players missing, such as Amad Diallo. I was shocked when entering the tactical screen because it's basically copied everything from EA FC 24 and it looks like they even copied the wording. But that is not a bad thing here, as there's a ton of tactical options and I haven't tested it to its fullest enough to see how well that actually replicates it on the pitch, but from a formation and basic tactical point of view, it works very nicely. I'd recommend dipping into the free agents and the transfer market and signing some players first, which should be enough to rack up you a couple wins by playing 4-4-2, a defensive narrow shape, playing slightly deeper, and I was able to rack up 5 wins on the bounce. And by earning wins, you rank up through the divisions. By playing ranked matches and completing challenges, you can earn in-game currency to buy players and strengthen your squad. Your players will also gain experience which can be used to acquire skills to boost their attacking and defending capabilities. Upon jumping into a ranked match, you're able to see your opponent's team sheet, see how many wins, draws and losses they've racked up, as well as the division they play in. Your players make their way onto the pitch. The overall build-up cutscene looked very nice, again putting eFootball to shame from a presentation point of view, and the overall graphics are very nice, sharp and detailed. But my actual thoughts on the gameplay, and please remember that this is an open beta, so there are going to be bugs found like this one here, where I was able to make my player go into my opponent's half just before they kicked off. As soon as we kicked off, my first feeling was that the game felt very clunky, with input lag affecting the gameplay, especially with possession of the ball. I gave the benefit of the doubt and put that down to maybe it's my initial lineup, as there's going to be a lot of low-level players throughout my first team. But even with a semi-decent squad featuring Ronaldo, the input lag was still there. Normal passes are super fast and accurate and went exactly where I wanted them, but due to the accuracy of the passes, it felt very ping-pong-like and hard to differentiate between a good passer and a bad one in my team. I'd like to have more control over the power of my passes, but power just determines if you want to pass to someone nearby or a player further away. It felt far too assisted and automated for my liking, and through passes just felt weird and didn't go exactly where I wanted them. Long through passes would be pinged at record speeds and slow down too suddenly, as if every player has mastered the backspin regardless of the animation and how they kick the ball. Crossing felt fairly manual, and trying to get it to the right player I wanted appeared difficult at times, but that might just be a skill issue as we've only had 3 days to practice. Headers felt decent and realistic, unlike EA FC 24, so that was nice to see that they haven't copied the heading mechanics from that game. And I've still yet to perform a volley, so I'm still waiting to let you know how volleys feel in this game. Goalkeepers felt okay, but parried the ball far too much. But then again, I've not come up against any world-class goalkeepers yet. Goalkeeper animations are on point and they react very quickly to loose balls and generally do a good job acting natural and not appearing superhuman. And also, I haven't noticed if they come off their line without manual intervention, as there's only 1 vs 1 rank to go by. There's no sort of AI games that you can play. Slide tackling felt near on impossible to pull off, and running into my opponents or letting my opponents struggle with the input lag whilst they run into my defenders felt like the best way to defend, meaning I'm still sort of 0 for 10 in the watch your legs challenge, where you need to execute several tackles. And it was quite funny actually, because I think one opponent I came across who was beating me was struggling too with that challenge, and he was literally slide tackling recklessly from anywhere when he was 2-0 up. Overall player movement when defending is similar to FC24, where you feel like your players don't move freely or quickly across the ground, but it's nice that the defending did feel very manual, and that's where I'm afraid the positives end. Containing with a secondary player doesn't seem to have much impact, and I would prefer if they stole the secondary player press from eFootball when using R1 whilst defending, which means your player will go out and pressurize the player on the ball. Shooting looks good but feels far too assisted, but that is a complaint that could be labelled at many of today's football games. I just find that there's a lack of variety in the goals, but perhaps that's down to the fear of input lag and me not trying to be able to go around the goalkeeper. With all the assistance through passing and shooting, it can promote toxic play, which is like you're seeing here, where I keep possession at the back line, and I only did this to test to see if it's actually possible, and did apologise after the game to my opponent. There needs to be some sort of mechanic in place, like if you're making 10 passes in your own half without progressing the ball, there needs to be a poor touch, or either a poor touch from your player or a misplaced pass to prevent players doing this, because you have no control when defending to push your team up the pitch and press your opponent. And I was literally able to retain possession for a good 15 to 20 minutes of the match without even trying. The replays look really good and polished and put eFootballs to shame. I would say they're almost as good as EA FC24's. As for the sound, the menu music is decent and the crowd sounds are far better than eFootball's. Commentary is not great, but it's okay. At times you'll find it delayed and some of the lines don't quite match what is actually happening on the pitch, such as saying they've now extended their lead to 2-1 when I was 2-0 up and my opponent scored to close the gap to 1, or telling me my formation is 5-3-2 when in fact I'm actually playing a 4-4-2. It's probably something I'll eventually turn off, if not improved, for full release. The bar and post make the weirdest sound I think I've ever heard in a football game, and I dislike the sound of those and the ball hitting the net being played through my controller. It was far too loud, but thankfully you can turn this down or off in the settings menu, which I eventually did. So whilst the game on the field feels like it's ready for release off the pitch, the on the pitch gameplay is the reason it's still in beta form. For me, it was pretty unplayable and wouldn't be a game I would return to in its current form, but it does have potential. If they can remove the overall general input lag on the controller without making it feel too fast paced and reduce the assistedness in passing and shooting, then we may have a third competitor to EA FC24 and eFootball. They do have a great foundation here in terms of the menu, opting for eFootball's Dream Team style selection, and the graphics look on point, as do the replays and overall cutscenes. Player face likeness is quite some way off in my opinion, but graphical details like that are pretty minor. It's about getting the on the pitch gameplay right first. As long as you can roughly tell who your player should be from their hair color, their haircut, the skin tone from the default camera view, that is sufficient for me. There appears to be a severe lack of player ID as players run, pass, shoot and move their arms all in the same way, so you really do lack that touch of individualness from each of your players. I didn't come across any latency or internet lag issues whilst playing UFL. However, from all of the games that I did play, I did have one game where the server connection was cut, but overall the online play from a connectivity point of view was near perfect. And when I first heard about UFL, I remember getting the idea that they wanted to copy FIFA and remove the scripting. And I think that was their big selling point, and you can definitely see that vision here is being replicated. If you're a fan of EA or FC24 or generally the FIFA gameplay, then eventually I think with a lot of polish this game could be for you. However, if you're after pure simulation, then we may need to wait or just go outside and play. Anyway, I'd love to hear from you. What are your experiences of UFL? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you love it? Let me know down in the comments below. Anyway, thank you so much for watching my review. If you liked it, don't forget to hit that like button, as it's going to help promote this video. And if you haven't already done so, please hit that subscribe button, just so I can go buy a camera as we near the 100,000 marks. Anyway, thank you so much all for watching. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, I'll see you soon, bye bye.
They now have 10 men behind the ball. What a goal that would have been!